everybody, and welcome back to the Apex Clubhouse. As always, I'm Stacy alongside Ben to talk to you guys about all things that are happening in the world of athletics. And there's no shortage of that right now because it's summer and everything is happening. So hello, Ben.
Hello. Thanks for putting this together today.
You're welcome. It's a thing that we do together, so I really enjoy doing this. Okay. There's so much happening at summertime in sports. And even though football might be over and basketball's over, the Stanley Cup has passed, there's no shortage of activity happening. So where do we start? What should we get into?
Well, first of all, welcome if you're new to the channel. So like and subscribe. We'd love to have you as followers. Our main thing is we run Apex. It's a private membership association for athletes. And we're here to help empower you to promote yourself, to promote brands, to build your brand. And this is really a financial education to kind of get you up to speed with the industry and what's going on with the business and sports. And specifically today, we really wanted to talk about the three major things going on in the world and how it affects you specifically in the realm of FIFA, Tour de France, and Wimbledon. So there's tennis and there's soccer and bike riding, road racing. And it's really interesting because it correlates to you as an athlete, because all these brands are just clamoring for eyeballs this summer. And so the whole world, 5 billion people are tuning into FIFA, and there's a handful of companies paying well over $500 to $700 million to get your attention while you watch soccer. So that's super interesting.
And everybody is tuning in. It's been fun to watch the social media response to having Japan and Texas and having all of Scotland show up in Boston, and people just really loving the United States, the stadiums, the hospitality. I really feel like the US has shown up in a pretty big way on a major global scale. So all of these eyeballs, all of these sponsors, and all of these dollars it is paying off. The investment is paying off.
It is. I think it's probably more successful than certainly I had expected. And I think it's really going well. And I think the sponsors are loving it and the fans are loving it. It's a worldwide stage. And as far as athletes and performance goes, it's just an incredible thing to watch. And I think it's done probably better than expected.
And then the interesting thing is like the turnover to Wimbledon, because they call Wimbledon a tradition like no other. And we were just recently there. We had an incredible experience waiting in line for the queue, spending the 8 hours to get a ticket to get into the grounds. And then it is so traditional. It is so specific. What you are not getting in Wimbledon that you get anywhere else is just a bunch of billboards. You're not getting a bunch of big marquee signs on the back of the courts or even around the grounds. Like that does not happen.
Yeah, the advertising and marketing for Wimbledon is totally different than FIFA. FIFA is in your face. It's billboards for Saudi Aramco, which is the biggest oil company in the world. Visa gets, the whole billboard all the way around the pitch, the whole entire game on and off. So they're getting this mass exposure. And then you go to Wimbledon and there's a sign of Barclays when you come in, bank. That's about it. That's about all you see from 7 or 8 tennis matches. And then all the athletes, all the tennis players, they just have the little patch right here, Chipotle. So
yeah.
Taylor Fritz has his Chipotle right here, and Francis Tiafoe has the Lululemon right here and on the wristbands, right? So they got the wristbands and the headband, and that's about it. That's about the marketing that you get. So
Coco Gauff has got New Balance by Miu Miu. So that was like a high fashion collaboration that she's rocking. It's really interesting because that is it. Like that is the branding. That is the marketing in that arena.
It's smart too. I was just going to say it's smart because it's all white and most of the advertising is red, but it's small. So it's subtle, but it's there. And because it's like got a white backdrop, it makes it really stand out and pop. So, I mean, there's millions of people watching like Wimbledon, there's 500 million people watching. So as far as like how much people are paying to get that exposure, there's 5 billion people watching FIFA and you have these big, huge multinational corporations sponsoring them, and then you have like Lululemon and Chipotle are on the sleeve of the tennis players. So it's subtle, but it's definitely a different strategy.
I mean, meanwhile, I'm looking at your background for the Tour de France, and right on the jersey that these guys are wearing, they've got their sponsors on their helmets, on their bikes, on their socks. Like, those guys are riding billboards for their different companies.
Yeah, so I did a little deep dive on the amount that they're paying to get exposure on the Tour de France, and this is the best bang for the buck right now in sports. So 3.5 billion people are going to watch the Tour de France in the next 21 days. It's a 21 stage. They're on stage 3 today. They just finished that. So they're paying $300,000 for 33 different brands are paying $300,000 to get exposure to these riders. And so you have the Lotto in Belgium is paying for, like, this guy right here specifically, it says Lotto on the side of his jersey. It's kind of backwards, it's hard to see, but banks, credit card companies, protein brands, whatever, they're paying to be on the helmets and the shoulder. So as these guys are riding, there's just like all these people are getting to watch them ride, and they're only paying $300,000 for all these views. So as far as bang for the buck goes, they're getting 5 cents per viewer for the Tour de France, which is a really, really cheap exposure to get access to, your advertising for your company.
Yeah, that's really impressive. So since we're on the topic of
Wimbledon is a little bit higher brand, and it's like Rolex, and it's higher brand awareness, or I should say more luxury brand, and they're paying more. They're paying 25 cents an eyeball, whereas Tour de France is paying 5 cents per eyeball.
It's a really underrated sport. High quality, high level, high visibility sport for the price. That's incredible. People should pay attention to that. If you're trying to advertise, Tour de France is the place to go. So since we're on the topic of jerseys and the real estate on jerseys, let's talk about what's happening even in the college landscape when it comes to placement on jerseys.
Well, it's really a perfect segue because companies are paying for real estate and eyeballs and exposure. So as you perform, whether you're riding a bike or hitting the tennis ball or playing football, you have all these viewers watching you play football or basketball, and you have this patch right here on your jersey. And the NBA did this years ago, and it just exploded the amount of money that's available for the athletes. So how this correlates to you as an athlete right now is that all these universities have figured out, and time has come to sign deals that allow companies to advertise on the jerseys. So the first jersey for the Big 12 was, let's see, I think we have, Culver's is the big one right now with Wisconsin. So they've signed. So if you watch Wisconsin football this year, they're going to have a big Culver's patch right here. And I mean, it's subtle, but it's a red jersey and a blue patch. So it's going to pop.
Not that subtle. It's not that subtle. It's going to say Culver's.
Right. It's going to pop. Yeah. Not subtle. Yeah, exactly. It's small, but it's going to pop and it's going to get attention. And they paid, I don't have the numbers here. I thought I wrote it down, but I think $5 or $10 million for that patch to be on the jerseys to get exposure. Wisconsin's going to be on national television several times this year, and it's going to be great exposure for Culver's. And the money comes into Wisconsin, and then they have to revenue share. So the athletes are getting revenue from these deals. So this is why this is such a big deal. LSU signed a thing with Woodside Energy. It's an Australian oil and gas company, which is a weird partnership. I mean, what does an Australian gas and oil company have to do with LSU? Yeah. I mean, I don't know necessarily, but a 10-year, $40 million deal was signed by Michigan State to have the credit union patch on there. So you'll see MSU Credit Union on Michigan State's jerseys. The weird one is New Mexico has the Inn at Mountain of the Gods, Inn of the Mountain Gods. It's a resort and casino. They paid a 3-year, $1 million sponsorship to get, the patch on New Mexico jerseys.
That is so random.
It's so random. And Learfield is behind a lot of this stuff. So Learfield has signed several.
Brokering the deals.
Yeah, brokering the deal. And then UNLV has one. It's called Accesso Biologics. They set up a thing with Learfield as well. 5 years, $11 million for UNLV to wear an Accesso. It's a tissue bio, bio company. Wyoming has signed something with Tallgrass, a 5-year, $45 million oil and a 5-year, $4.5 million deal.
Okay.
And they're an oil and gas company, and they do pipelines. They're based in Denver, and they're going to pay. So if you see Wyoming football, they're going to have Tallgrass patch on their jerseys.
It's so interesting because it's who's going to watch that and then immediately be like, oh, you know what we should do? Reach out to that company in Colorado. So it's more like a bragging right than it is hoping to drive consumerism.
Yeah, it's an oil pipeline company. You're not going to have people in the stadium giving you business. It's just not that the demographics. So it's a weird one.
It's just paying for naming rights the same way that Alliance Stadium or SoFi, right? Like they just want the banner of having their name attached to the team.
Yeah, and this is really the thing we really want to bring awareness to, you as an athlete and the brand as well. If you're looking to brand yourself and you want to use an athlete to do it, FedEx is paying Memphis University to have their patch on. So it's a multinational corporation. FedEx is everywhere, but they're also based in Memphis. So it makes sense for them to advertise locally. But FedEx is everywhere in Memphis. You drive around and Memphis or FedEx is advertising on every billboard, and they're all over the place. But what you get when you go to Memphis is you get an NIL deal, and you get a revenue share by local companies that are based in that city, paying the university to get exposure to the local demographic, the crowd, everybody that goes to Michigan State games. Their mom, their sister, their brothers are all banking at the credit unions. So they advertise hoping to get that exposure and awareness so that if you're not, using that credit union, you go use that credit union. But it's all isolated to your city. And so you're going to get a revenue share depending on who's going to be funding the advertising campaign. But what I really want to make the distinction of is all these companies are signing deals with local universities where they're based. But that's an NIL deal, and a brand partnership is a little bit different. A brand partnership is where you get paid directly from that company to promote that company directly. So whereas Coco Gauff is getting, what's her sponsor again?
New Balance.
New Balance. Yeah, so they're going to pay her directly. They're not paying a university and then she's like the main athlete at that university, so she's going to get part of the revenue. They're paying her directly. So that's a brand partnership. If you're a track star at LSU and you sign a deal with a local jewelry company, that's a brand partnership, and they're going to pay you directly. And you will get some money from the school for revenue share. So it's just something to think about in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Well, now we're talking about placement on jerseys. We're talking about even naming rights on stadiums. And what we have seen recently is that there's all kinds of new stadiums coming around the country. So what do we want to talk about there? Because we were in Las Vegas recently for the athletic director conference, and we saw the new Las Vegas A's, because Oakland is moving to all of Oakland is moving to Las Vegas, and we saw that new stadium being built. And then last summer we did a tour of Arrowhead in Kansas City for the Chiefs, and we know that they're getting a new stadium built in Kansas now. The Bears are moving to Indiana. These are things that are happening at the big national level, right? The professional level. But let's talk about what else is happening in the land of stadiums.
Yeah, stadiums are blowing up. So Broncos are getting a new stadium. They're working on doing a $5 billion stadium for them. The Jacksonville Jaguars are doing a $1.7 billion stadium in Jacksonville. And it just filters on down to college. So $70 million is going into a North Carolina stadium. Middle Tennessee, which is in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, it's an hour outside of Nashville. It's $66 million expansion into their athletic program. Adrian College, which I just quiz anybody, like, do you know where Adrian College is? It's so small, but they're building an $11 million.
Where is it?
It's Adrian, I meant to look it up. I was in the process of looking up these random colleges that are getting crazy money. And I forget, I
It's
think
just
it's
called
in
Adrian
Maine.
College.
Adrian College. Yeah. $11 million dome. It's 130,000 square feet. They have a 17,000 square foot weight room. They're getting these, incredible NFL style weight rooms and training centers. And Texas Tech is putting $5.7 million football expansion, 57, I'm sorry, $57 million football expansion into Tennessee Tech. And they're in Cookeville, Texas.
Texas Tech.
Tennessee Tech is building the $57 million one.
In Cookeville, Tennessee.
Cookeville, Tennessee. Yeah, I wrote Texas, but yeah, you're right. I'm getting those mixed up. Thank you.
That Adrian College is in Adrian, Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And then so like Bucknell University, I'd looked that up. That's in the middle of Pennsylvania, in the dead center of Pennsylvania, in the middle of nowhere. $18 million football stadium to Christy Mathewson Memorial. So if you're going to play football for Bucknell, you're going to be playing in a brand new $20 million facility. And it's just all around the country. There's another one, Mary Hardin-Baylor. It's in Belton, Texas. They're getting a $20 million football field, and they have just a locker room that's better than the Kansas City Chiefs, because we were in the Kansas City Chiefs locker room, and this is better than that. And this is after Kansas City won a couple Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls. They upgraded their locker room to be just pimped out, just gorgeous. And now, this college at Mary Hardin-Baylor, which I doubt anybody's ever heard of, has a better locker room than the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's interesting because a few weeks ago we were talking about the money coming out of college athletics. So it's actually kind of cool to hear that money is getting pushed back in. But again, it's being pushed back into the revenue generating programs. So your basketball, football, baseball programs, which is why we exist, ladies and gentlemen. This is why Apex is here. It's for everybody. We represent all sports. I think we're 40 sports deep, both genders, and opportunities for everybody. So that's why we're here. Just in terms of listening to what's happening from the stadiums, this is really why we exist.
Yeah, and the other reason we exist is because we want to give everybody the education on how the landscape works in this space, because there's so much to it. Because as we talked about in our last podcast, was all these athletic directors are so busy with so many things. They're handling all these different vendors that want to put in the stadiums and the locker rooms, and they're handling the ticket sales and the revenue of drink and beverage and food at the stadiums. And so they have just this wide scope of so many things going on. And then you have these these big, huge Fortune 50 companies that want to be associated with the school because they have 100,000 people every Saturday at their stadium. So They want advertising. So there's that aspect of it. And they're willing to give the crumbs away to the athletes, which is shit. I mean, they've been, the NCAA has been just trampling on all the students' rights for years and years and years. And now they finally lost a lawsuit, and they spent $150 million in just legal fees in the last year to try to mitigate the damage. And it just shows you that the NCAA owes these athletes so much money, and all these Learfield and Playfly and JMI Sports, all these companies and private equity groups are trying to get into the space to take the money out of the revenue aspect of these universities' earning potential. Right. And they're having to pay the athletes. And so when you get a quarterback making $2 million when he 5 years ago couldn't take a dime, everybody across the country is like, oh, I can't believe these guys are getting $2 million. That's crazy. That's stupid. No, they should be getting it. And they should have been getting it for the last 25 years. And now the fact that they're getting crumbs tossed at them, and the fact that the crumbs are $2 million sounds great, but the tennis players are not getting any of that money. The track teams are not getting any of that money. The diving, the volleyball, the softball teams are not getting any of that money. And if they do, it's just super minimal dollars to the very top player of that team that gets the most. I was just going
to say, it's the marquee player. It's not the whole team.
Yeah. And it's going to filter through, hopefully. But man, they're running up so much debt on so many different athletic programs around the country that you really have to be careful and cognizant of when you choose a school, where you go, how much you're going to get paid, is it in writing? And that's what a lot of resources we provide on apexathletes.ai is all the different educational resources that allow you to help make a good decision. So when you enter the portal, what's going to happen to your scholarship? Are you going to lose a year of eligibility? The NCAA has changed their rules like 5 times in the last couple months, just trying to, him and haw about, if you're a hockey player in your second year, or how many years of eligibility if you change your sport, if you're a baseball player as a freshman. I mean, there's so many different rules and it's always changing. And that's where our AI helps you narrow it down specifically, customized just for you. So that's what we really want to impart to everyone listening still, is that there's so many things that you're allowed to do, and not a whole lot of athletes are doing them. And so it comes down to promote products is how you get paid. Keep yourself out of trouble. Know your rights. Take advantage of all the opportunities that these companies have to share with you because of a lawsuit that they have to share it with you. And when they share it with you, are you entitled to more of it? Like, it's not greedy to say, well, that's great, $500,000 to play for LSU. That's awesome. Yeah, but what if they took $2 billion of revenue in 5 years during the 5 years you're there, and you only got 500 grand of that? Like, you just got stolen from, and the universities took it, and a private equity group took it. And so you're just getting your rights trampled on if you don't know better. And that's,
everybody else is profiting. Let's take a second just to learn maybe a little bit more about our membership.
Perfect.
You built the following. The opportunities are real, but where are the tools to handle them? Apex was built for this moment. A private membership association for verified athletes who hold themselves to a standard. 18 and older, a 2.8 GPA, or active professional competition. Verified before you are in. That standard is what makes the network worth being in. One card, your verified identity as a certified athlete. Tap it anywhere and your entire profile goes with you. The Alpha Link connects you to businesses, brands, and opportunities instantly. There is no better way to connect with your community than your Steel Apex membership card. Real tools for your real life. Profile visibility, financial literacy, compliance updates, resume building, social strategy, and real-time analytics on who is watching. Everything in one place. AI Vetter polishes every message you send in your voice. The Apex AI Agent Envoy answers your compliance, eligibility, and contract questions in real time. No waiting, no lawyer fees. Take full advantage of the Apex Marketplace. Find a brand you want to work with on the gig board. Certified vendors post paid opportunities directly to verified athletes. You respond, you get hired, you get paid. Apex takes nothing, 0%. For coaches and athletic directors, Apex is completely independent of your institution. Your athletes join on their own. You carry zero liability. Athletes have always had the talent. Now they have the infrastructure. Every sport, every level, one standard. $10 a month, everything included. Your career, your terms. Apex, private by design, powerful by standard.
Every time I watch that, I get fired up. Man, our shit's cool.
I agree. If that doesn't get you ready to promote products and start earning money as an athlete, I don't know what will.
Well, then you have all kinds of opportunities, right? So yes, promote products. Like our friend Cash Peterman is aces at this. Like that is what he makes his bread and butter off of. But there's also other opportunities that exist. So for all those kids that are interested in international opportunities, there's so much happening right now, especially in Asia. What should people be aware of?
Yeah, so if you're an athlete, it kind of goes back to what's next after college, and I don't think a lot of athletes understand how many international opportunities there are. China is growing like crazy. Their basketball programs are exploding. They can't get enough basketball. There are so many people over there that love basketball, and they don't have enough teams and players over there to facilitate the demand. So it's growing. And one of the companies, Anta, is bigger than Nike in China now. They've surpassed Nike. And they're paying athletes here in the United States to wear their shoes, and they're building their brand through endorsements. And so if you're looking for any kind of opportunity to play overseas, playing basketball and soccer in China as well, soccer is exploding worldwide. It's not because of FIFA this year. It's just growing fast. And so is flag football. And they're starting to offer scholarships for flag football, but they're offering huge incentives for people to go overseas and play soccer and basketball. So
is Anta the brand that Steph Curry is?
No, it's Li Ning is the.
That's right, Li Ning.
But
still, it's more happening over in Asia.
Yeah, Anta has already paid Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Rajon Rondo, D Wade. So there's a bunch of big guys that are getting deals over here for that. But when you go over to China, even like Lamine Yamal, he plays soccer in Barcelona. He comes over to the FIFA World Cup and he starts doing commercials for American companies. And people in America, I don't think really even know who Lamine Yamal is. But the same thing is true for the Chinese brands. When Americans show up over there, guess what? You're going to be doing commercials for green tea that you've never heard of, or some soda or protein drink that has never made it to the United States. They're going to pay you to promote their product. You're going to show up over there as a foreigner. They're going to love you. They're going to just instantly want to come watch you play because you're phenomenal. And when you go over to China, ironically, with all those people over there, a lot of American athletes, we have the infrastructure to produce great athletes. It's no surprise. And so China wants that. And so they're importing talent, which is, our college athletes. So it gives you an opportunity to play at the second level and get paid by tons of brands that you never even heard of.
And there's a remarkable amount of brand team loyalty. So if you sweep over there as like the rock star that you are, you're going to just have like this crazy, incredible fan base, which parlays into all those endorsements. Can we talk about crazy endorsements right now?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Pat McAfee and Uncrustables.
Oh yeah. So if you haven't been paying attention to Pat McAfee, he does a lot of the College Game Day stuff. He has his own podcast. ESPN signed a 5-year, $85 million deal with him. So he has his own show and he promotes products and he has opinions about everything and people tune in and they watch. And so he's really kind of taken off. He signed a deal with FanDuel for $120 million for 4 years. That's playing out. DraftKings has signed a deal with him. He has a deal with Lululemon and also Twitch. So he's making money on all these different brands by promoting them because he has the attention of people. And so he promotes it and he gets paid. This is interesting because he just signed a deal with Jams and it's like an Uncrustable. You throw it in the freezer, you freeze your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you take it out and you throw it in the cooler or take it to work or whatever. And then you have a PB&J sandwich. It's so easy and simple, but one of his buddies started it. And now Caleb Williams and AJ Watt are in on the investment aspect of it. And instead of them paying Pat McAfee to do an endorsement for them, they've just given him ownership in the company. So this is something that you should think about as an athlete. If you're going to promote somebody and you're willing to forego maybe say 20 grand or 60 grand or 150 grand to promote a product, say, you know what? I will do this for free. It's not going to cost you a dime up front. Just give me 5% of your company and I'll just promote it like crazy because now I'm the part owner of it. Of course, I'm going to buy into, celebrating what you offer. And they really get behind that brand.
That's a big strategy in Hollywood. When you look at the actors that have done exceptionally well, it's not because they took a huge payday. It's because they took points on the back end, right? So all the streaming platforms, all of the DVD sales, all of the Apple TV downloads. I was just reading the other day that Jennifer Lawrence got like $500,000 to do the first Hunger Games, and then over the course of the series, she ended up with something like $300 million because she took back end deals for the other movies that came out. I think there's 4, maybe more. Don't quote me. I'm not a professional with Hunger Games, but it's that back end thing, right? So in Apex, there is the AI envoy, and there's also the vetter, and there's also a contract reviewer. So you can either upload a clause of your contract, you can upload the whole damn thing, and you can say, this is what I'm being offered. Is this fair? Is this valuable? Does this work for me? What should I counter? And then this is a great place to do just that and to say, maybe I don't want like the $1,000. Maybe instead I want I want 50 cents for every product sold. And over time, that's going to compound way more than just your $1,000 if you have some patience. You got to think like Shark Tank, right? Like this is what people want, annuities or they want royalties, and this is how that happens. And we have a tool inside our platform for you in order for you to do just that.
Yeah, we know one of the we have a friend that knows the guy who developed the logo for Starbucks, and he has the same kind of thing. He could have easily taken 20 grand and just stuffed it under his mattress, invested that, and saved it, but he did that. And he said, no, don't pay me, just pay me 2 cents per cup, or half a cent per cup, or whatever it is. And he is I don't know if he's billionaire status, but he's got to be close. And super smart. And then also Nike has a thing where their logo is a company owns the logo, and then Nike pays a offshore company, because the company that owns the logo, they set up a licensing right offshore so that they can move taxable, do a tax strategy to where they have an expense, they pay themselves to a different company, and it's offshore, and so they avoid some tax liability, and then have a benefit of moving cash overseas in a way that is through a licensing agreement on their own logo. So these are all the ideas that you get by being a member, and you just log in and you get all these ideas. You get an AI that knows sports, it knows you personally, it knows your history, it knows all the things about you, because you tell it what you want to do, and it'll figure out how to craft letters and help your financial branding strategy. So
well, and to our demographic of 18 to 26, this is it, right? Like this is to help highlight you in your career, in your season, but then also set you up for success after the fact. So if you're 18 to 26 years old and in athletics, this is the place for you. I'm so happy that you found us. I'm so happy that you get to be part of this. And we built it to help you guys succeed.
Yeah. And if you're a parent and you have kids coming up through high school and going to college, and they're working on their brand, and you want them to have more opportunities than what you think they're taking advantage of, use this platform to help them build their social media strategy, to post properly. There's all kinds of audits around the NCAA with compliance, and the state and federal government, and the resources that they have to get approved by NIL Go. So there's so many rules that you can help your child navigate through all this. So if you're a parent and you have an athlete, jump on board as well. Get them using apexathletes.ai, because it's an AI enabled resource that helps your kids succeed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ben, for this episode. Thank you all for watching Apex Clubhouse episode 7. We'll be back again next week, and we'll catch you then.
Bye, guys.